Hey there and welcome to my channel. My name is Jan Tisselarts and I'm a sketchbook addict. I mean literally, I am that kind of a person who can never walk past the bookstore and the shelves with those fancy sketchbooks without buying them. And when I do, I promise to myself that I will finish them, I will draw in them, I will learn and grow and make notes. But to be honest, for quite a while, I haven't been doing this. I'm not finishing my sketchbooks, they are simply stockpiled on my shelves no matter how good they are, and I feel ashamed for this because I'm not using a real good quality art material. And if you also have that I'm not drawing in my sketchbook problem, watch my video till the end and see how I get inspiration from my previous work to break through this art block and continue drawing in my sketchbooks. Well, in this video I decided to start with showing my first ever watercolor sketchbook, which I started basically, I believe, in 2016. Yes, that's when I was already not that much of a rookie with watercolor. I've been painting for probably nearly a year or something, and that was the sketchbook which was given to me as a gift by a friend. Actually produced it. His name is Tango, and back then he was making those amazing sketchbook in a variety of models and different paper types and something like this. So since we knew each other and we were very sympathetic towards each other, he gave me this as a gift. And probably because it was a gift, I felt like a little bit more at ease with drawing in it, and I started to paint in it, and I guess it took me about a year probably to finish it because I was still very new to sketchbooks and I didn't know any rules. And the sad thing about this is that back then, when I didn't know any of the rules of how you should do your sketchbook or something, and actually there are no rules. This is basically why I'm trying to do this video project and show you more of my sketchbook and hopefully create more of them and share with you. So please subscribe to my channel not to miss this. So back then, this kind of a perfect sketchbook culture wasn't that much of a thing, so sketchbooks were sketchbooks. And later on I kind of saw all those beautiful videos with sketchbooks which looked like complete art books, and I started to feel ashamed of my scribbles. And I do understand that to some people what I'm going to show you right now is also going to look like, wow, you shouldn't complain, it does look like complete artworks. So I'm not doing this to kind of humiliate myself or to humiliate anybody else whose sketchbooks are more messy than mine. I don't hold this in mind. I'm just sharing this feeling like there's always somebody whose drawings are better, more skilled than yours, and you see this because it's not that like there's any rule on how you should do art, but you know inside of yourself what you want from your own art. And this is what happened to me. Like, I saw people draw stuff in the sketchbooks which I would like to do, but I was not able to due to lack of skill. And eventually I simply stopped doing sketchbooks, and I have so many of them. They are wonderful, wonderful paper, and I really want to fill them and to paint in them and to grow. So this is why I'm starting this project. So okay, I'll stop with talking about the idea and go on to showing you the actual thing. So the paper is Canson Montval, and I think it's a wonderful paper for both for beginner watercolorists and for the senior ones, because it's really good. I mean, it's really kind of cool to work with. Oh, you can see 2016, so I was right about the time. This is where I started it. So that was, and actually I really love this portrait. This probably was one of the first ever sketchy sort of watercolory portraits. This is an actor. I don't really remember his name. I just found the picture on Pinterest. If you guys recognize him, so please write down in comments below who is that. I would love to remember. So this is how I started drawing people. I was always better at drawing faces than anything else, as you can see, because for example this kind of picture, oh wow, it's funny to see how on a video it looks better than in real life. In real life I really never liked it. this was also painted from reference, from the photograph I just found somewhere on the Pinterest. And here on the other side, that was painting I did from real life. I can remember I was painting this in a coffee shop or somewhere, and the rose was given to me as a gift by my husband. So we were chilling out in a cafe and I was painting it from real life, and it was so sweet to remember. Actually, when I paint in my sketchbooks, I try to use every little bit of paper. So I paint both sides of the papers, and sometimes I even paint over with gouache or something else, because I'm just so willing to use as much as I can of all of those resources I'm privileged to have. And actually, I try to save money. Oh, those were exercises I did to understand how negative space works. The exercise was inspired by a book on watercolor, which is called, I believe, Everything Watercolor or something like this. It was really useful. This was the first time I tried this technique. This was supposed to be a winter landscape, and probably does look like it in sort of a very loose way. And when I look at this, I kind of miss that braveness I've had back then. I didn't know how to do this, but I did try, and it looks so loose. I wish I could bring this back. I really should do this more, because I feel that I've lost this enthusiasm with which I simply took an idea and tried to do this no matter what, even if I knew that I can't do this. Oh, look at that. I was trying to draw animals back then. This is fun, because I haven't done this for so many years. This is cute, a cute little deer. This is really cute. And here on the other side, oh, I really liked that. That was really good. I was really good at drawing this. It's interesting because right now I mostly draw people, and I don't do kind of still lifes or something. And this also shows me that I should try doing this more. I was good at this, and it was a cool practice. Not all the time you should draw stuff which is suitable for your style on Instagram. This is actually one of the problems I've been reflecting upon for some while, because I realized that I mostly try to draw stuff which would look great on my Instagram account, and this is definitely not the way to go. I should do more stuff like this. And it's so interesting to see what I was interested back then, what I was doing. So here, it looks cool, and it's so autumn-like. Oh, I really love the sense of paper. It kind of reflects the feeling so well. And those grainy textures of paint. Oh, it makes me want to paint so much at the moment. Really, I think that I will finish making this video and will probably take out one of my empty sketchbooks and start painting something just for the feel of it. It really is so inspiring. Here is the other landscape. Look at that. I was very much into trying out watercolor landscapes back then. I was much more brave because now it's easier for me to try doing this in digital. Probably this was made from a photograph made by me. Yes, I believe it is from the photograph I made, and then also I made it an Instagram post backwards when I had my private account, not the art one. And I was posting some pictures there from our travels around Hungary, and this is a Hungarian landscape, I believe. Oh, that was painted. That was the Gryffindor trio was painted after a while. I wasn't painting anything in the sketchbook for probably a few months, and that was probably already in 2017 when I started to draw characters more. And it was painted when I participated in an art marathon dedicated to Harry Potter universe, cinematic universe mostly. And that was the first time I ever tried to draw a picture with so many characters in it and trying to kind of group them on the same page. And right now I'm really happy with it. It's cool, and I did work well with shadows and with light. I probably think that most of the stuff I do right now in digital is something that I learned from trying those traditional artworks, because those were my first steps in understanding both color and light and everything about it. Wow, this is just so cool. And me, that was the person who was talking about not making a whole page look like a complete artwork. And I did this. I did this like 4 years ago, or well, maybe 3 years ago. This is amazing. If I wouldn't believe myself that I did this. This is really so cool. Just look at that. All those water drops, they really look real. It looks even weird that I was capable of doing all those tiny little strokes, that I took time and effort to do this. I really should be thankful to the artist I was back then and probably come back to some of those things. Okay, so here we have a guy, and this is where I started drawing guys mostly. That was that kind of a turning point when I realized that guys is something I'm mostly interested in. Oh, so this is definitely 2017, I believe, probably the beginning of 18th, because it's Credence Babylon from Fantastic Beasts, and I can't remember when it came out, but I believe that it was in autumn of 2017. Yeah, so that was probably somewhere around that time. Once more, I was trying to convey a very difficult lightning. Oh, and I remember this. Can you see that? Can you see that? If you can see the mistakes, drop me a comment in the comment section. If you can guess what's wrong with the picture. Oh, it's so embarrassing, but yes, back then I was doing fun stuff with anatomy. This is so funny. But what have you here? Oh, another full page illustration. Wow, I was kind of good with painting those mythic characters, the centaurs. This was also dedicated to Harry Potter, I believe. So that was a forbidden forest. Do you remember? Those centaurs, they were kind of living there. So I believe that's what I wanted to say with this picture. And I love the atmosphere and how I worked with color. I did really good, I think. This looks like a kind of very compelling illustration for somebody who were watercoloring for 2.5 years or something. I should probably try to do something more like this. And I like the body. You can see I didn't go very much into detail, both with the horse and the guy and here as well, but I captured the shape kind of really well and the anatomy kind of well. I should do this. I should probably try doing kind of this creature painting more. And I see that I also tried to add some contrast with pencil strokes, and it's interesting to see how I often do this right now with digital, almost the same thing, like I paint the whole color and then add some texture with strokes, and it's interesting to see how I started to think that way. Oh, what a guy. Probably that was in those times when I started to play Witcher. That was probably an original character based from a reference, whom I tried to make like another Witcher or something like this, or probably a character from this world. And this one does really look very watercolory, so very, very delicate line art, colored, so with kind of sepia color, and I really love that. Oh, that's where I discovered the power of doing master studies. The Rose of the Garden. And I was trying, of course the original painting is an oil painting, but I was trying to capture the color and the figure with the watercolors, and it did really teach me quite a lot, as far as I can remember. And I was trying to copy this original painting also in ink to understand tone, but I wonder if I can find this drawing. And I was so patient to do all those bricks and all those leaves. Another still life. I wonder what... I really don't remember why I made this. Probably because I wanted to try out how those two colors... Because I really love this color palette. How do they work with each other? Right now, I probably wouldn't draw anything like this, but it's interesting that I did, and that I seem to have worked quite hard in it. Can't even recall why. Right now I'm trying to do more master studies because I really feel the need to lean on the shoulders of those who were much more skillful than me and to learn from them. Another landscape and a girl. That is interesting because right now I don't really paint lots of girls because I mostly focus on men. Gay men specifically, since I'm myself a trans man and a gay man. it's nice to see something different, that I was interested in this. And here, which is abstract. Oh, I wonder what made me draw. I like cross, and I can see. Oh, it's interesting that right now I'm working on an illustration with a dark autumn fairy, and it does have a raven there, almost in the same position as a part of the composition, and it's so amazing to see that those images, those symbols, they were with me for such a long time. And if I wouldn't be filming this video, and if I didn't get back in time with the sketchbook, I wouldn't even remember that this character already appeared in my earlier works. I believe this is already 2018, absolutely, and this is Michael Fassbender, and this is a portrait I'm still so proud of. I think that this is one of my most interesting works in watercolor I ever did, even though back then I wasn't even closely as skillful as I am right now. But that was sort of a, I don't know, a burst of inspiration, and I like his eyes and how lively they are, and the feeling this artwork gives me. Even right now, I can feel how it resonates with me. One thing only ruined it. This is why I was so kind of disappointed with it, that I messed up with the proportions, so his head sort of bumped into the end of the paper. But I still love it so much. It still inspires me right now to go back to drawing. I wonder why I left this style. Even back then, I was so interested in interesting and kind of weird colors, a little bit electric, you know, those oranges and blues mixed in one, not too warm, more on a colder side. I really love it. It does bring me back to those ideas I had back then. And here, it's brownish gray, it's warm, it's very muted. That portrait of Michael Fassbender is very bright, and this one is so desaturated. So completely different things right in front of another, and this is cool. It's interesting, like they almost look like they're completely opposites if you turn it like this. I think this is an original character I was thinking about, who was supposed to be a person from Elizabethan in Britain. This is why he has this sort of Elizabethan look to him. It's a pity that I don't really remember the story, but the character is still here on the page. This is what sketchbooks are. They are for those kind of stuff. Probably I should try and make a remake of that artwork and see what I can do with it right now, and maybe remember what the story was about this character. And really love those reds and the color transition of his coat. That looks really cool. Oh, look at that! Is this me who did this? And oh, those fairy characters, I was interested in them back then, and I'm still now, and I really want to continue doing stuff like this. This one does real great. In fact, on the camera it looks even better than in reality. Honestly, it does look better. In reality it's a little bit more messy, but I really like the idea. Probably one day I should do the whole series about these characters. In some vague way, I remember that this character in some way is related to this one, so probably they come from the same universe of my fantasy. Because they both wear those Elizabethan kind of clothes, and they definitely come from some sort of a magic place. But this one is definitely more of a fairy than that one. Interesting. I really want to recall this. I should probably look into my old notebooks and see. Probably I've written down some of the ideas. Yay! Here are those characters. This illustration is really emotionally important to me, because those guys are the characters from my husband's original novel. Actually, it's 2 volumes length, and these are Michael and James, and they are in love. And this novel was published this year, and a lot of people bought it, and there's even a little fandom about it, so I'm so proud of it. And that was back in the development, so I painted them when it was all ongoing project. So he was writing the book and I was trying to visualize the characters. Since then, I painted a lot of artwork with them, and you can even find some of them on this channel, so see the link. You can see the link and see the video with those guys, which I was already doing digitally, but still you can see how their visualization changed through time. And that was the first time I ever painted them together, so it is so emotional and sweet. Oh, and another still life, a cute little thing with a flower, and this flower, how it's called, the hyacinthus or something like this. I really love this flower, I love the smell. Each spring I promise myself to buy it to myself and I forget it. I should really do this. This is funny how this whole video is about that I should really do this again. Something happened between kind of the year 2019 and of course 2020, which was horrible, a horrible year, that cut off some of the fun thing I was doing with art. Probably in some ways this is because art became my own and major sort of income. So I really feel that I need more painting for myself, and this video helps me to make it as a statement, or probably as a resolution, to promise to myself and to you guys that I will do this. And I will show you the result of this decision, how it works out. So let's see. Sorry for this sound, guys. This is a little flying horse which bangs, but I really love this horse. It kind of resembles me the idea of inspiration because it's a Pegasus. Let's go on. Oh, Percival Graves, performed by magnificent Colin Farrell. I was so in love with this character. I really don't see him as Grindelwald. In my headcanon, Percival Graves was a real person, and actually is. I believe that he was alive, only kidnapped by Grindelwald. And me and my husband, we wrote a whole huge story about him and Credence and Grindelwald and the Youth Commander, and I believe that in my heart Percival Graves is alive and is battling against evil. But in terms of art, what interesting me is how I'm already working here with fabrics, and I can really see that I'm much better with both anatomy and fabrics and the light and color and everything. I really improved quite a lot. Here, I will show it to you closer. I'm still quite bad with proportions and composition of the page, but let's remember that it is a sketchbook and it doesn't have to be perfect. I still have to remind that myself all the time. And this is a portrait of James McAvoy and some notes I made for myself, how I work with color, which are still kind of accurate, I think. This is what I would do right now as well. So I was already very mindful about what I was doing. And this is what sketchbooks are for. I have to really, I really want to hit my head on a desk and tell myself, this is what sketchbooks are about. They are about working, they're about trying new stuff, they're about learning and making notes and trying new things. And another artwork and art book quality illustration, and I can see how I grown here with color and light, even comparing to the picture I made with Percival Graves. And here, can you see this disaster? This is because this paper is very bad for masking tapes. And when I was taking it off, this is what happened. It ruined it. I believe there was some part of the picture here which simply went off when I was removing the masking tape. And, that is bad. But how I love the colors here. That was when King Arthur came out, and I believe this is absolutely 2018, probably the end of it. So it's already pretty much close to now. So you can see how I've been changing and growing through those times. Oh, and I haven't shown you this guy. I believe that I painted him on another art marathon, which was a portrait art marathon. And on New Year's Eve, we had a challenge to draw a funny and unconventional Santa Claus, and this is how I painted mine. So he looks kind of crazy. And let's move on. Here, I was also trying to paint Percival Graves with gouache, and it didn't really work out. But the attempt was cool. And that was, as you can see, that was made for Pride Month, and it was made in June. And I believe these are also James and Michael. In my early attempts to draw them, they changed. But still, I could recognize them. So these are once more those two cool characters, written by my husband. Here goes Colin Farrell from the Bruges, a movie which I really love, and I probably you wouldn't recognize Colin Farrell here because I would doubt that this portrait looks accurate. But the movie, it absolutely left me breathless and became my favorite movie of all time, even though it's kind of a little bit underrated, I think, by some people. If you've seen this movie, if you liked it, please comment in the comments below and let me know what you think about it. And also there is a question which I ask everybody is, how do you think did Ray stay alive? Did he survive or not? Tell me what you think. And so it's pretty nice for me to see that I was reflecting my emotions from what I've seen with my art. And I didn't really care that nobody would be very much interested in it, because I know that not too many people even watched this movie, but I still did this. I did this not because I wanted to get more likes, just because it was my emotional thing. I should try to do this more. Oh, and this is Sweeney from American Gods by 2018, I think, yeah. Because I really love this character. I really love Sweeney. He's one of my favorites, and I also have some more artworks with him. I will show you because they are in other sketchbooks. To see that, come back to my channel. You will see more. Oh, and so here we came to the last artwork, and this is Cherrick. Yes, Eric and Charles, kind of a little bit of erotic thing. I really hope YouTube won't mind, because nothing very bad shown him. This is a finger, YouTube. This is a finger, nothing else. And this ship is something which will stay fresh for me, I believe, before I die. I will love this forever. And this ship is something so emotionally important to me, and I'm happy that I tried to portray it here. Thanks for joining me on this incredibly emotional journey to the past, and I really hope you enjoyed this and you will be waiting for the next sketchbook tours of mine. If you do, please comment below and like this video so I will know that you're interested in this sort of content, and I will gladly make more sketchbooks and finish them and share them with you. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.